Bill Hader was unaware that Bill Skarsgård can actually move his eyes in 2 different directions. Hader asked Skarsgård what kind of editing was done to achieve the effect in the first movie. Skarsgård, in full costume and makeup, responded by saying, "Oh, you mean this," and doing it, causing Hader to freak out. Here's pics of it happening, by the way. 5,000 people are watching a fish play Pokemon. Fish has already acquired his first Pokemon, a Charmander, named Arb. No, you don't understand. The Charmeleon is like level 20. What the? Nude vampire with gloves, tintype on silver, 1864. Artist unknown, and possibly consumed. This is the greatest fucking caption I've ever seen. Adam and Eve had to raise teenagers, but they were never teenagers beforehand. Eve, holding the first ever baby. What the F is this? Adam, talking to God. Hey buddy, so I don't know if this is like normal or what, but my wife just shat out a fat bald monkey, and now it won't stop screaming. Are you doing okay up there, bro? Who knew a Jew traveling the country, offering free healthcare, and exposing the dangers of extreme wealth would be so unpopular with the followers of Jesus? Gonna be some awkward convos in the afterlife. Fun fact. Bernie was a carpenter at one time too. Mayo. What? So today's hot take is, Bernie Sanders is Jesus. Growing up reading fantasy books was such a bust, cause your whole life you're left wanting more from life, and like, there's something missing, and you're just waiting for that missing part to begin, but it's never gonna come. There's not going to be a magical adventure, you stupid prostitute. I was playing volleyball in the gym with the kids, and this little boy got hit in the head, and I was like, "Oh geez, you okay dude?" And he just said, "Yeah, I'm real strong. Watch this," and punched himself in the face. I said to be gentle with his brain, and he told me, "No, really, it's okay, look," and I had to physically block him from slamming his forehead into the brick wall. Superman's preschool teachers all deserved raises. Google execs used to say the company's motto was "Don't be evil." Now, a dozen employees have resigned in protest of its artificial intelligence drone program for the Pentagon. Google employees reportedly quit over military drone AI project. 3 days later, Google removes "Don't be evil" clause from its code of conduct. I always thought that Google's informal motto being, "Don't be evil," was about as comforting as a coworker having a sign at his cubicle reminding him not to snap and murder everyone in the building. As it turns out, watching the coworker remove the sign is even more ominous. Bear tries to use cat door to enter home. He looks so sad. Just let him in. I just remembered that tomorrow is my birthday, lol. F me, never mind, it's a leap year. Cucked out of your birthday by the orbit of the earth. The best thing that ever happened to me in high school was about 6 years ago. Our teacher never showed up for class, and neither did the sub, so one of the guys in the class just got up and started discussing his various theories about the island in Lost, and started drawing different diagrams on the board and ranting about his fan theories, and everybody just went with it and raised their hands for him like he was the teacher, and that was the class. When are we, as a society, going to stop romanticizing serial killers and start romanticizing art heists? There is no crime sexier than an art crime. Try to convince me otherwise. You won't. What about stealing from a museum to smuggle cultural artifacts back to their people? A reverse Indiana Jones. A sexier Indiana Jones. This is by far the best addition to this post. You're so right. Important question. Can there still be gratuitous Nazi killing? Absolutely. Technically, aren't the people in fandoms that like intensely adore a villainous character and jump straight to another one when they appear also minions by definition? Next time, can you just come kill me in person? It would be kinda morally grey. A character who does too much bad to be a good person, but does too much good to be a bad person. Sympathetic villain. A character who is a bad person, but whose backstory / character arc makes you feel sorry for or sympathetic towards them. Anti-hero. A character who does bad things to achieve a good goal. Anti-villain. A character who does bad things to achieve a goal that they believe to be good, but is actually messed up. Just plain annoying. A character who does bad things to achieve a bad goal, but has one throwaway line about a hard childhood that is expected to put them into one of the aforementioned categories, when in reality it just makes them annoying. Just once I wanna put the blade of my sword under a pretty boy's chin and tilt their head up so I can see both fear and arousal in their eyes. Is that too much to ask? It's kinda cool how our generation has created actual tone in the way we write online. Like, whether we write properly with perfect grammar, SHRTHND everything, use capitals to emphasize the point, use extra letters or characters for emotion, and much more. It means we can have casual conversations, effectively make jokes using things like sarcasm that's usually hard to understand without context, and much more. This incorrect English has really opened avenues of online conversation that isn't accessible with correct English, which is pretty interesting. This is why attempts by the media to portray online communication by millennials really frustrate me. Because there are rules. Okay. Like see, that's different to saying there are rules. My class and I literally taught some of the nuances of this to our English teacher. Things such as the difference between yes and yes, or and. It makes perfect sense linguistically that we would create this complexity to ease communication in a medium without body language and tone. But what my teacher was really flawed about was that none of this had ever learned it. We are native speakers of a whole new type of English. Gmail, when you sign in on another device. What's the most famous person thing you've ever done? Tom Holland. Oh, I sometimes ring restaurants and pretend to be my own assistant to get a table. So, I ring like, switches to an American accent. Hey, this is Tom Holland's assistant, and we'd love to come in to dinner for 12 people tonight. And they go, oh yeah, sure, of course, we'll get that sorted right away. Unilad. Amazing. Tom Holland. I actually did it today for my family. We are going to a nice restaurant, and I know we wouldn't have got a table if I didn't drop my own name. Unilad. You're super famous though, why not just call and be you? Tom Holland. No, because you never want to start with that, because if you get to the point where they're like, no, you can't have a table, we are fully booked, you then don't want to be in the situation when you're like, yeah, but I'm Tom Holland, because then they're thinking, yeah, and you're also a prick. Why is this so funny to me? The peak millennial experience is apologizing to servers for existing. Concept. A medieval court drama in the style of The Office, except instead of interview segments, it has confessional segments with the audience in the priest's POV. Jesus comes from a shortening of the Hebrew version of the name Joshua, while Christ simply means the Anointed One. To make this clearer to modern Christians, I propose a new Bible translation, where Jesus is referred to only as Oily Josh. There's something really unsavory about Oily Josh and his 12 teenage friends. Oily Josh and the Greasy Boys. This Chloe Moretz cartoon also seems questionable. What if Snow White was no longer beautiful and the 7 dwarfs not so short? So making Snow White heavier means she's no longer beautiful? Yeah, that's a great message to send to children. What the F? Who? I just read the plot of this, and somehow it gets worse. The dwarfs are princes under a curse. In order to break the spell, they need a pair of magic red shoes. But currently, the red shoes are owned by Snow White, who, get this, has let herself go. But when she wears the shoes, they show how beautiful she is on the inside. Akathin. So basically, in order for the princes to break the curse, they have to doom Snow White to a life of fatness. Why do they hate us so much? Yikes. Saw the movie recently, and that's literally not the plot at all. The advertisement group was disgusting as F, and when the movie came out, it was actually nothing like those ads. The princes need to be loved by a beautiful woman, but what's beautiful is an opinion. Snow White loves her size and strength, yeah, she lifts, but her dad goes missing. And no man was willing to help her until she ended up in those red shoes. She doesn't like what the shoes make her into. She just likes finally being helped. It's a love story between her and one of the dwarfs, where he needs to learn to not judge himself or others based off appearances. Spoilers, but they get together at the end. He's a prince again, and she stays her cute fat self. So, it was really just a case of really bad marketing. Oh, so it was bad marketing. Saying this, she casually threw aside a large rock. Nobody will suspect a thing. Krauto bombing. We talk a lot about consent, and that's a good thing. We talk a lot about autonomy, and that's a good thing. We talk a lot about privacy, and that's a good thing. But we talk mostly about all of that in respect to sex and relationships, and it's important to remember this applies to other things too. If someone says, "Don't tell anyone I got this new job," and you then tell people, you've violated their consent, their privacy, and their autonomy. If a friend says, "I don't like it when people touch my hair," and you keep touching their hair, you have violated their consent, their autonomy, and their privacy. If a coworker asks you not to tease them about their new boyfriend, even if it seems like gentle and friendly fun to you, and you do it, you've violated their consent, their autonomy, and their privacy. People remember these things, and they hurt. Not as much as sexual assault, obviously, but those small violations of your wishes, those instances of disrespect, still hurt, and they can add up. Consent doesn't just apply to sex. Respect the wishes of others. My girlfriend. Treat me like a princess. Me, tears in my eyes, hauling the guillotine out of storage. I'm sorry, honey, but for the good of my comrades and country, a monarchy cannot stand. Millennials have taken down dozens of industries, but it looks like Gen Z will be the ones to hurt Facebook. They're coming after us now. Oh wow, Gen Z isn't using a site that's mostly used by 40-year-old moms, sharing minion memes. Godspeed, young ones. Succeed where we failed. Destroy the beast. Millennials, you must not fail. Go. Gen Z off to destroy Facebook. New hobby idea. Using phrases that sound like down-home folksy expressions you learned from your grandma, but are actually just nonsense you just made up. That man really salts my melon. You know what they say, it takes a bushel of corn to feed one chicken. A louse will live on any head it lands on. Don't put down a salt lick and say you ain't got cows. There's a guy who eats half the berries and says the pie shell's too big. Like digging a pond and hoping for ducks. This was supposed to be a joke and all, but as a southerner, these still make sense. He visits my town once a year. He visits my town once a year. He fills my mouth with kisses and nectar. I spend all my money on him. Who? Girl, your man. No, a mango. A mere Cusral. 1253 to 1325 cent. This changed my life. This was written before the printing press was invented, and it still sounds like a modern day post.